Let's take a look at some of the top stories of the hour. Chinese President Xi Jinping held his first formal talks with Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi, at the APEC summit in South Korea. Seen as a China hawk, Takaichi has toned down her rhetoric on Beijing after taking office earlier last week. Israel hands over 30 Palestinian bodies to Gaza a day after militants returned the remains of 2 Israeli hostages, according to the Red Cross. The transfer, facilitated by our ICRC teams, signals that the fragile ceasefire deal remains in effect despite deadly Israeli strikes earlier today. Ukraine's security chief Vasyl Magyuk says Kyiv has carried out nearly 160 successful strikes on Russian oil and refining sites since January. He says the long-range attacks are aimed at cutting Moscow's war funding and vows more operations to further weaken Russia's economy. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha urges the European Union to increase tariffs on Russian imports if any member state blocks new sanctions. Sybiha made the remarks during a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky, saying Kyiv will push the issue to strengthen pressure on Moscow. Now, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he fully supports King Charles's decision to remove Prince Andrew's titles, calling it the right step. Downing Street expresses sympathy for Virginia Giuffre and other victims of Jeffrey Epstein, echoing Buckingham Palace's statement on the same issue. Turkish court sentences 11 people, including the owner of the Grand Cartel Hotel, to life in prison over a January fire that killed 78 people. State media say 34 children were among the dead and 137 others injured when the blaze swept through the ski resort in the Bolu Mountains. Yemen's Houthi authorities announced 43 UN staffers will face trial over alleged links to an Israeli airstrike, while at least 59 staff still remain detained, complicating humanitarian aid delivery across Houthi-controlled regions. Tanzania's opposition says hundreds have been killed in post-election protests, while the government claims it is restoring order after isolated incidents. The United Nations reports at least 10 deaths in 3 cities, marking the first international estimate of fatalities since Wednesday's vote.